Ladies and gentlemen, you would never believe what I'm about to tell you, but the winning formula for real estate is all about pickles. And you're going to find out next right here on Cliff's Notes. Real estate agents, are you struggling with the day-to-day grind, dialing for dollars, putting in hours of floor time with little to show for it? Are you looking for tips, tricks, and tactics to accelerate your career as an agent that will have you closing more homes, working with more clients, and earning more money than ever before? Hi, my name's Cliff Freeman, and I've spent the past 2 decades of my real estate career running one of the top brokerages in DFW and personally coaching over 1,000 high-performing real estate professionals across North America. I created this podcast to share the strategies and tactics you need to explode your real estate business. I guarantee it. All right, I guarantee this is going to be a Hall of Fame show today. We have just about cracked up, rolling on the floor laughing before the show this afternoon. But before I introduce my guests, I want to always check in with my my spiritual partner in crime here, back there at the controls today. Trelvis, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm curious to know about this pickles, success trait, but I'm doing really good.
Well, we're going to trademark it.
Okay.
In fact, we might even write a book and make a movie about it. But
I like it.
If we can to get the audience, there are going to be a lot of writer downers here, but be patient. We've also got, who else is back there with you? I see some tall young fella back there.
We got a guy by the name of C3.
What's going on? Back and better than ever.
Back and better than ever. That's right. He turned out he's all negative, and we it had been from the get-go, and we're grateful to have him back. But unfortunately, we didn't have enough room around the dinner table today for C3. It's not because he's ill or anything. We have 2 wonderful guests today that flew in all the way from Melbourne, Florida. And without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce these gentlemen. To my direct left here, Mr. Charles Fischer, one of the most successful real estate brokers in Melbourne, and does a lot. You're going to hear all about investments and the coaching that Charles does in a minute. And to his left is Brandon Lape, and Brandon he's the certified badass. If you saw him, we were at lunch, and he grabbed a Zillow lead and just crushed it and killed it, and did it in a matter of about 2.5 minutes. So this is the story, guys. And I'm going to tell you what, we're gonna unpack it, and this is definitely going to be an all-time Hall of Famer show. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And Charles, if you would. You've been in the business a while, right? Give us a little bit of background and tell us kind of your story about how in the world you got into this crazy real estate business.
Well, absolutely. But first, thank you for having us here. This is exciting. What a wonderful venue and awesome show. But my story is I graduated UCF, go Knights, and got a job selling fireworks, working for a company doing that, and realized pretty quickly that where I wanted to go with my life and create the value for my family, it wasn't going to happen selling fireworks. So found some materials about buying real estate, buying rental properties, and purchased some information and got busy. Made that commitment in late 1998, bought our first rental in 99.
Okay.
And been buying rental houses and flipping houses ever since.
You don't have any of the old Carlton sheets.
It's funny.
Tapes, do you?
That's exactly the one I started with.
No
money
kidding.
Down Carlton sheets.
Oh my gosh, man! There's people in the audience going,
cassette.
"I got those. Yeah, I got those."
That was the
they
one.
were on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He used to have the late night, next to Tom Vu. You remember Tom
That's
Vu?
right.
Yeah. Come to my seminar.
Yep.
You want the good-looking women? You want to drive nice car? Come to my seminar.
3
right?
easy payments of $59.99.
There it is.
That's
3 easy
what it
payments.
was.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So there was some good stuff in there. Obviously, you started, with the cassettes, but you actually implemented and then you grew your business, right? So,
Correct. Bought the program, followed it to a T, made the phone calls, met sellers, and started buying houses.
And so, how did you do your first year?
First year, we did 2 buy and holds, and we did 2 flips.
Okay.
Of course, I was selling fireworks, so I wasn't making enough money to just buy houses with cash. So I picked up the skill set of buying, fixing, and flipping to generate the cash that we could use that to buy
Okay,
the
so did you
houses.
bootstrap your way in, or
We
did you
did.
have investors?
No, I had no investors to start with.
Okay.
We did it all on our own,
Okay.
working 40 hours plus a week during the day and buying and fixing houses at night and weekends.
Okay, so fast forward to today. Tell us what you got.
We're closing in on the number 300 flip, so we're about 290 and change. So we've done a few flips.
Yeah.
And along the way, we started a real estate brokerage. That was 2011, and really started it for my investor friends, a place to hang a license, have access to the multiple listing service, and make a few bucks on commissions on the deals we were doing.
Okay, and Nate Butcher, if you're listening, or Julie, we may have another buyer here for express offers in the Florida area. I don't know. We'll have to talk with you about that after the show.
Yep.
Well, that's incredible. So the size of your organization now is, well, tell us what that looks like people-wise.
Well, we were very blessed. Our business grew very quickly, and before I knew it, we had a little over 30 agents, and we were doing a pretty good volume.
Okay.
But then as an independent broker, I was spending a huge amount of time managing and training and motivating.
Wow.
And it became a full-time job.
So you had all the headaches, right? You had
Correct.
the training, the coaching, the mentoring, and then when you had an agent do something stupid, you had to
Compliance.
comply.
Yes,
or
we had
get everybody
compliance.
things straightened out. Yeah, that's the fun part. Okay.
But I loved helping people.
Right.
And
I was going to ask you
really
you have a heart of a teacher almost, right? I mean,
do a lot of teaching and training.
Yeah.
Have students and have taught a number of people how to buy, fix, and flip, and buy and hold as well.
Okay.
For sure.
Is it true what they do on HGTV? Is it just like, does it only take 30 minutes
Yeah,
to flip a
you
house?
can finish and flip a house in about 59 minutes, maybe 45 with commercial breaks.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Yeah, I've always
Not
wondered
quite.
how they pull that off. Yeah.
Usually 60 to 90 days, depending upon the team
60 to 90.
and the depth
Okay.
of the renovation.
Okay. And do you guys buy like the burnouts and all of the just really torn up houses, or what's your sweet spot?
We don't do sinkhole. We don't do a lot of burnouts, but pretty much everything up to that point.
Did you say sinkhole?
Well, in Florida, we have these things called sinkholes where the ground just opens up and things fall into it. And that's
Wow.
one of them that's not my niche.
That would be a tough
Yeah,
one, I would
it
think.
is.
There's actually people that do those.
There
now?
are. There sure
Really?
are. Mhm.
That's amazing. No, Texas, we don't have basements or sinkholes here that I know about anyway. But incredible, yeah. And so along the way, you met this young man on your left.
I did. He was introduced to our brokerage, presumably originally for investment purposes. He wanted to do some buy, fix, and flips as well.
Okay, so Brandon, your motivation to get in the business was on the investment side as well,
Correct,
the wholesale side?
Yeah,
Okay.
so we've got a rock star agent in the office. Her name is Megan Dixon in Melbourne, Florida.
Hey, Megan.
Yeah, hey, Megan.
Got to give her a plug, sure. Yeah.
So, Megan was my into the business. She motivated me on the investment side and talked me up on Charles, and I actually met with Charles before I ever got my real estate license.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we started.
So the original plan was not for you to be, selling 50 houses your first 10 months.
No, believe it or not, the original plan was to do a couple of flips and start a property management company.
Right. And tell us a little bit about your background before real estate, Brandon.
I joined the Air Force 2 weeks before 9/11. Went to boot camp shortly after, and I've been stationed all over the world, several deployments, and then ended up back in the Melbourne area, which is where I'm from.
Okay.
And I just kind of went from there.
Okay. And by the way, today is the day after Veterans Day, but thank you for your service.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. What did you do in the Air Force?
Law enforcement and security.
Law enforcement and security. Now, that's a good people business, right? That's a good way to learn how to convert leads, right? So you run into people that are breaking the law, and I mean, wow. I mean, I would think that the skills that it requires to be a good law enforcement officer are they similar to what you need in real estate to succeed, or what?
Believe it or not, more than that is really, at one point I had about 20 troops that I supervised. So when you get in the business of leading people, and managing systems and processes and making sure that everybody follows the guidelines to a T, there's a lot of liability in law enforcement. So, it translates over in a lot of ways.
Okay. All right. And so you've been in the business for how long now selling?
So full-time I started in January.
This year.
This year.
Did you guys hear that? January this year.
I don't think I sold a house in January. I think I sold one in February, and nothing in March, and everything kind of kicked off in April.
Okay, so just like most other people who are new in the business, you didn't hit the ground with like 6 closings and things like that. It took you a little bit of time, 90 days. You got your first paycheck within 60, and then 90. It was a little dry, and then all of a sudden, what changed? What started to happen?
Well, so the first kind of 3 months, my mentor, Chris Bear, has been mentoring me for quite a while. He gave me an acronym called PICKLES. And that's where
pickles.
So the P stands for prepare. So my first couple months, full time in the business, was my preparation. Getting my social media.
Write this down. This is a writer downer.
Writer downer.
Pickles. P is for prepare.
Prepare. So in the prepare phase, especially for a new agent, that's when you're getting together, your social media accounts, your lead generation, you're reaching out to your sphere, you're doing all that stuff.
Got it.
In the beginning, and they say for, every lead I pulled in today, like at lunch, I'm looking at a paycheck next month. So you're always working 30 to 60 days out, 30 to 45 days out.
All right. What's after P?
Implement.
Implement.
Implement your systems and processes. Start now. So the I is implement immediately.
Implement immediately.
Right.
Okay. So, and it does take time to get your KB Core or whatever you're working with, your lead generation sources.
Sure.
You gotta prime the pump a little bit, right? Okay. That gets us to what's the next letter? C, right?
Consistency.
Consistency.
Yep. And so we know that the main failure for realtors, especially new realtors, is lack of follow-up. So you need to be consistent in your business every day.
I believe that 1,000%. Okay. And then K, what is that? Ketchup?
It is
ketchup.
It is not ketchup.
Okay.
It could be knowledge.
Knowledge.
Right. Knowing your product, knowing your market, knowing your neighborhood.
How do you learn the product in the market, Brandon? What did you do to learn it? You lived in. You're from Brevard County.
I'm from there.
Yeah.
Yep. And so I just my whole since 19 I won't say it, but when I was born, I've for the most part been in Brevard County.
Okay.
Outside of some deployments overseas, and but it was always back.
What about your sales skills? Where did you learn those?
Those. I've never sold a thing in my life outside of eBay.
Okay.
So, when it comes to sales, really it was just all about being myself. Be your true, authentic self.
Okay.
And be confident.
Okay.
If you're confident, that will transfer, to your clients, to your people around you, and they will in turn be confident in your ability.
I heard Robert Kiyosaki say one time, someone asked him, what is the best background to have to be an entrepreneur? And you know what he said? The service.
Mm-hmm.
He said you learn leadership, you learn how to make your bed, get out of bed, you learn discipline, you learn everything you need to be successful as an entrepreneur. I'm starting to believe him here a little bit. Okay.
Are you ready for L?
I'm ready for L.
All right.
Let's rock and roll.
L is to leverage your business with people and systems. And I'll tell you something Charles told me.
Great idea.
Early in the beginning.
Yeah.
He told me I was tripping over 50s to get the nickels. And it was true. Because I would not give up control. I would not. I wouldn't hire a TC.
Okay.
I wouldn't hire an assistant. I wanted to have that
control freak.
Well,
right?
With real estate for sure.
Yeah.
But it was also, it was getting that face-to-face time with my clients. I was also building a relationship.
Sure.
Yeah. And what I learned was I can, leverage that, pass it off. I've got more time to go build relationships with those clients and new clients.
Right. And we talked about this a little bit. It's kind of identifying the high dollar, the high leverage activities, the high dollar producing activities that you can do, right?
Right.
Okay, excellent. Where are we now? We're on
the E.
We're on the E.
Yeah,
okay.
and I'm sure we'll talk about that more, later in the show, but E stands for the EXP platform, which really ties it all in, and makes the system of pickles work.
Okay, so that was really, but that, even though it's on the tail end of the word, literally how is your business for both of you? And I'm going to go back to Charles just for a minute here. By the way, we did say pickles plural, so what's the S
plural?
for?
Yep. So the S is servant leadership.
Servant leadership.
That's right. Yep. Servant leadership. So as realtors, servant leadership is a powerful tool because we're leaders in our community, we're leaders on our teams, we're leaders in our offices.
Okay.
And so it's how can you empower those around you to be successful?
Right.
And that's really it. At the end of the day, it's not what you do for yourself, it's how do you help other people grow.
Right. We like to say around our office that the money in your bank account is simply a measure of how well you're treating other people.
Right.
Right?
No doubt.
Yeah. Charles, let's go back to you for a minute.
Sure, sure.
And tell us, as a broker owner, we talked about some of the responsibilities that carries and some of the headaches and so forth. Let's look back 6 months ago and compare that to now. Tell me, how has the next chapter of your life changed in terms of the outcome you expect from 6 months ago to today, and why?
Yeah, great question. And really, as you know, I started this as an investor. I wanted time freedom, and I wanted to leverage other people's time and other people's money, to create wealth for myself, and then wanted to train others to do the same thing. And as I mentioned, I started the real estate brokerage really not with the intention of growing it to a retail brokerage, but really a more investor-friendly brokerage. And then guys like Brandon showed up, and Megan, who he mentioned earlier, and some other agents who had a strong desire to do a big retail business. And I was just not equipped to help them make that happen. And we came across EXP.
Okay.
And took a look at that model. I'd looked at plenty of other models before. I'm not a franchise guy. I've started all my businesses from scratch.
Right.
So I wasn't interested in the franchise model. I wanted something that I could, own, but I needed systems, I needed organization, I needed training that I just didn't have.
Yeah, they say that when you buy a franchise, the franchise owns you.
Correct.
Not vice versa.
And I've seen that. I use franchises, I think we all do. And are you really the owner, or are you more of a manager? But again, it wasn't something I wanted. I really didn't want that franchise.
Didn't fit in with your exit strategy.
That's right.
Right. Okay.
That's right.
Excellent. And so you're actually in the process right now of folding your brokerage into
correct
EXP. Okay.
We're just wrapping up the final pieces to be 100% on board. The entire agent team has transitioned over. Brandon and the rest of the agents are there. Closing deals, making things happen, and I'm just wrapping up a few things and hanging up my broker's license.
Okay, so the advantage is for you as a broker, you don't have the responsibility anymore. You've actually got a doable and a tangible exit strategy now, right?
Correct.
I mean, with residual income and stock ownership, I mean, the last chapter of your real estate life is going to look quite different.
100%, and with the extra revenue streams. And I think really the final straw for me was about 2 months ago. I had several agents approach me that wanted to join the team, and I turned them away. I got to a point where I just couldn't handle the responsibility for training and management of more people. And it was at that point that I realized I needed to scale, and I needed to make a change in my business model.
Right. So how does EXP allow you to scale?
In many ways. They've got some amazing systems, right? We know the KV Core, the CRMs, the websites, the training, the EXP world. It's just amazing.
Right. Yeah.
The access to information, it just seems to be on demand, which is great.
Right.
Many of my agents were starving for content before, and now they're, I would say overwhelmed, but now it's a matter of putting it in an orderly process because there's so much available that you have to go and get what you need, because there's even more than I think in some instances of what you need, maybe not at the time.
Right.
If that makes sense, which
It
is
does.
a great place to be.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to learn real estate on YouTube, right?
Correct.
Like, Google how to do an open house and things like that.
It's
I mean,
all
they're
there for
live
you.
icons. Those icons are agents who sell a ton of real estate who are giving back to the community and reinvesting and collaborating, and that's what really the one EXP. This is really a version of the Three Musketeers, but it's on a whole nother scale. It's all for one and one for all, right?
Correct.
All right, let me get to Brandon here for a minute. Brandon, why, as opposed to Charles being the broker, you're an agent. Why is being over at EXP better for you?
Man, the world has just expanded. I mean, in a matter of seconds. As soon as I got into the world, mine just broke open.
Now you're talking about EXP world, which is our
world,
which is where we live, work, eat, sleep.
Virtually.
Yeah, virtual world. Right.
Yeah, it was a little. Took me a minute to get used to being an avatar, but once I learned how to work it and realized, the immense amount of value that was all there in one place, it was incredible.
Well, but not only that, but you started real estate at one of the most difficult times initially. I mean, it's turned out to be a banner year, but let's face it, guys, back in March, there were a lot of us that were not very hopeful about the year and perhaps even considering another career at that point, right? When they shut everything down. How did EXP make it easier for you to get through that?
So the folks that I met really in EXP, that's really what where it was. I asked some other agents at big box stores. I said, "Can you call your president? Can you are all of these people available and accessible to you and willing to answer your questions and willing to,
They were just trying to figure out Zoom, right? Right.
But for me, it was just incredible that the guys on that level are interested in the 3-month agents,
right?
And are willing to take the time.
Yeah.
And it was, I'm sure I had a lot of rookie questions, and Chris Bear in particular, I probably drove him crazy because I would call him at 11, 12 at night, with my questions, and it was just great, when they say a rising tide rises all ships, I mean, there was absolute truth to it,
yeah.
And that was really what pulled me in, was because everybody will tell you, oh, I'm here to help you, but once they have you, they're gone, and that didn't happen.
Right.
It didn't happen, and it was incredible because most of the houses that I sold this year during a pandemic were sight unseen. To folks who were living overseas or living out of state. I do a lot of relocation, so it was challenging.
Yeah, dude. Let's while we're on that topic, break down your business for people in the audience here. Just kind of give us a little look at what's your business made of. What's your perfect client? What sort of business do you do? You said relocation.
Right.
Let's be a little more specific and understand kind of how the clock runs.
There's
here.
a huge market in Brevard County. Talking aerospace, the military, the folks that have to come in. They're moving with Lockheed, with Boeing, with the Space Force, with the Air Force. The Coast Guard has a contingent there. So there's always a constant flow of people in and out. So it was just a matter of learning how to leverage that and tap into that market. And honestly, I did it with Facebook for the most part, and not paying for leads. Just building Facebook pages and getting involved in the communities.
I'm going to ask you to elaborate a little bit more on that. So you built a business, 50 deals your first 10 months, and what was your budget for marketing?
Initially zero.
Zero. Okay. Explain that. How do you generate that kind of business on Facebook?
So the first thing I did, was I set up, a business page. And I specifically wanted to target veterans, and so I made that page specific to veterans. I leveraged, it's the L in pickles.
Pickles.
You got your pickles?
Yes.
All right. So leveraged the other companies around me. So a big one for me was Elizabeth Cassidy at Future Loans, Space Coast in Melbourne. She's a veteran herself. She gets it, and she's done a ton of VA deals. So to build that partnership for me was huge. That was really a stepping stone in my business, was getting involved with, those local vendors and, folks that we helped grow each other. Cypress Home Inspections was another one. Drain Mechanics, is a big plumbing company. And we all kind of came into the industry together around the same time, and we built together and we grew together and we just leveraged each other. So that was a big way that I got to where I was. The other thing was I said I don't want to do what every other realtor is doing. So every and it just seems like everything's done the same way. The Facebook Lives are done the same way. I didn't want to be that guy. I wanted to be completely outside the box. So the first thing I did was I bought a limousine on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh God! I wish we had a picture of this.
And I put Fischer Realty on the back of it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think I've only had one client in the back of it because all of mine are relocation. But it just doesn't. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
And so every opportunity I took to be different and stand out, I did it, and it worked.
Yeah. When you were young, did you get called into the principal's office a lot?
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, the marketing that you're doing, check this out. COVID hits, and what do? You go dress up in a hazmat suit.
So
tell us the picture, the ad. This was hilarious.
So Charles was throwing away a PVC sign that said "Agent on Duty," and we were talking, and he had a hazmat suit or something in his truck for some reason, And so I put it on
For some reason.
Yeah,
We know now. Yeah.
yeah, and I put it on. I stood on the side of US 1, which is a major thoroughfare, in Brevard County. Well, really all up the East Coast, with probably 100,000 cars that pass by every day. And so I put it on, and I grabbed that agent on duty sign out of the trash, and I went out there and I stood there, and it was just nobody.
And didn't the news pick that up or something? I forgot. You told me that it was viral. It went viral.
Somebody took a photo.
Yeah.
And it kind of went viral on Facebook.
Yeah.
And so I took that. And photoshopped me out of that picture and then into a photo in front of my limo, and that's actually. It's a part of my marketing now.
That's kind of your trademark now, right?
It's kind of my trademark, right?
Right.
Yep. So, it's all about being different. I had clients that needed to get married, to get their loan to go through, and I wouldn't probably recommend it, but I got ordained so that we could get the wedding through. It's all about you show up every morning, and it doesn't matter what it takes to get the deal done and to build a positive influence in people's lives. You just do it, and if you're not the best sales guy or you've never sold a thing in your life, as long as you're authentically yourself, you will win.
So being authentic. Now, all right. So I know a little bit more about another promotion you've got coming up. Just share it with can you share it with the audience about the billboard?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So we've got a toy drive actually that we're sponsoring in Brevard County, and it's going to be really cool. It's through the local radio station 98.5 The Beach, and benefits the Early Learning Coalition of Brevard. So that was probably my biggest purchase really, was that. And so it's really cool. 2 Men in the Truck is a local company there. It's the Fill the Truck event, so there's drop-off locations all over the county. And when they were explaining it to me, I just said, we need to do something different. The other radio station's got a toy drive, right? But let's do something different. Well, by chance, Charles owns a billboard on US 1. And so I talked to him, and it took me a little bit to get him to bring the billboard around, but he was pretty open to it once I told him about the toy drive. And so we're going to live on the toy drive, or on the billboard for the toy drive. November 20th and 21st. It's going to be 36 hours on the billboard. And
36 hours on the billboard.
36
now
hours.
You get to come down for a health break, right?
Right, but that's it.
But that's it.
Yep, that's it.
So I think maybe you can recognize why not being his broker anymore when he calls me at midnight.
I think that's a safe
I have this
bet.
great marketing
Yes,
idea.
yeah,
now
yeah,
I
yeah.
can laugh and have
Right.
fun with it. Not have to worry about the
Instead of running for
compliance
cover,
issues.
right? Yeah,
That's right. So.
Exactly. Well, you shared with me a radio spot that
Yes.
I'm going to play it here, but let's give the audience the backstory on this radio spot real
Okay,
quick.
so it really just comes into being different. I talked to some marketing guys, and we looked at some different options for, radio commercials, and it just didn't fit my personality. And so while I was sitting with the guy, and we're sitting there, having lunch, and I said, can I play with your, little software program? Can I make my own ad? And so he did. And I think, what comes at the end of the ad, he was never expecting it. I don't think Charles was expecting it either. But that's
Right. Should I go ahead and let her rip here?
Hey, let it rip.
All right, I hope you can hear this, Travis. Let me see if I can get it to play.
Honey, worst nightmare. There was a global pandemic. It was so weird. It was named after a beer, and everyone was wearing masks. Oh, and we couldn't find meat or toilet paper. But there was plenty of vegan food. Weird, huh?
The nightmare is over. Welcome to the dream. The Brandon Lape team at Fischer Group, powered by EXP, welcomes you back to the real world. BrandonLape.com, the GOAT of real estate.
The GOAT of real estate. Did you guys hear that okay? I hope so. All right. That took a little bit of creativity to get that one done, right? Yeah. And so being different, we couldn't fit that into pickles, but
Right.
but certainly being different, you get credit for that one.
Thanks,
There's no
yeah.
question about that. Charles, I hate to ask you to follow that one.
Yeah,
but,
no doubt.
You're also well known for your unique marketing and branding, and in terms of like even on your flips. right? Where,
Yes.
you what happens? What do you do to draw attention to your flips when you complete one?
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. We do what we call a VIP reveal, and we have a party, a get-together, and we invite obviously the agents on our team. We invite our contractors who've worked with us, because many times the contractors have one scope, in the project. They don't get to see the finished product, right? So we invite them back to see that their part was very important along the line, and they get to celebrate in our success. We do use private lenders to purchase the properties and finance those projects. So what better environment to show other folks with money or potentially considering being our lenders, invite them to one of our get-togethers and show them the product when we're finished with it. It's just a great way to celebrate, have a little fun, and share it with the community of what we're doing. Invariably, neighbors come by too. And when you buy a house and it's been the ugliest house on the street for maybe years, the neighbors are nosy. They want to tell you all the stories. They want to get in and see what you're doing. We say, listen, when we're done with the project, we'll invite you over to see what the finished product is. And invariably, many of the neighbors come over, and sometimes they bring a buyer. And we've done that many times. So we sell the houses very quickly as a result.
Yeah, and you've also become well known and well respected in the coaching business as far as investing in wholesaling. Tell us a little bit about that, Charles.
Well, and that's the great thing about the change we've made with the brokerage, because now I'm buying back a good portion of my time, so that I can get back into the teaching and training, which is something that I love to do. There's so much opportunity in the investing world in real estate out there, whether it's buy and hold, buy, fix, and flip. And yes, we've been doing coaching. We've got Wealth Builder coaching program. We've done that since 2010, and we've helped a lot of people. And for me, it's about making millionaires, and that's a big goal of mine.
Okay.
And so you can do it with real estate.
So Wealth Builders, is that about creating passive income?
It's about, exactly, right?
Okay.
And sometimes it's the buy, fix, and flip. That can be hold them for rentals, or take that cash to buy rentals, because the cash flow is the game. And that, again, is how the EXP model fit in so well, because now with the EXP model, we have extra cash flows, rev share programs that we can offer to the agents that are with us as well. So
right.
It just fits in very well.
Which is, and rev share is unique and kind of cool because it doesn't include tenants, toilets, and taxes.
That's correct.
Right?
Very nice.
I mean, it really is hands off. There's no, you don't have to, I say hands off, you got to make sure that you don't spend it all, right? So there's that issue. But the fact is that that's working for you, whether you're asleep, whether you're sick, and think about all the real estates. There, 1.4, million real estate agents that are licensed and part of a National Association of Realtors.
It's a lot of
agents.
Yeah.
And they're all, for the most part, 100% commission, with the exception of 37,000 of them. When you think about how many times in my career I had to go without income because I didn't work. And unfortunately in this business, up until in the last few years, you were only as good as your last transaction, right? But that's changed now. Thank goodness.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are your plans, Charles? What's your vision now for the next 3 to 5 years for you?
We're going to build a big team, and we're going to help folks learn and master the retail business and secure their futures with buy and hold and buy, fix, and flip. We're merging the two together to create a big opportunity for folks that want to get involved with us.
Well, you seem to have a propensity to attract some pretty good talent between this one here, and is it Melanie that's back?
Megan.
Megan, I'm sorry. Sorry, Megan, didn't mean to call you Melanie. But Megan, who's back in the office, and others, so I'm sure you'll have a lot of success with that. So what would your perfect person to attract be? What would they be looking for?
They want to take control of their life. They want to take that control back. They don't necessarily have to have experience in real estate. They just have to have the desire, that commitment. I mean, we see it sitting right here, right?
You just got to show up.
He embodies what it's all about, and it's tremendously refreshing to be running an organization and have folks like Brandon walk in the front door
For sure.
and just take off and make some great things happen. That's why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah. Brandon, you know what the odds are in this business. 82% of realtors who get their license fail to renew their first time around. That's not a very good success rate.
Not at all.
What kind of advice would you give somebody who's contemplating getting into the real estate business?
I'll tell you straight from the beginning. I know I get calls all the time going, I want to get my license. I want to get my license. I think if people see the money, they don't see the hard work. They don't see, the midnight phone calls. I mean, Charles will tell you, Elizabeth, my lender partner, she'll tell you for sure. I mean, we're on the phone at 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes, working deals for folks that are living overseas. It gets crazy. You have to be able to commit. You have to show up. And very quickly you have to be able to leverage, and buy back your time. And that's super important. That's probably the hardest lesson that I learned. And actually there's a friend of mine, Erin, who's also an investor and an agent with us. That was one of the things that she told me early on. And so it's crazy. So, but it's really, I'm super excited for this opportunity, because what other place can you go? I can't think of one where you've got an amazing retail side, and the #1 investment coach in the state of Florida or beyond. And, just the knowledge in that office is immense, and EXP gives us the platform to leverage that and just kill it. And it's going to be great. It's going to be great. So
that's exciting. I mean, you guys, I have never seen the enthusiasm. I know you're full of love and you want to spread the love, and not only that, but help other people self-actualize. You said it's hard work, Brandon, and it is. It really is. I think a lot of people who are getting their license sort of, they don't pay much attention to that, and they say, well, I can do whatever I need to do. I don't know that they don't know really how hard it is. Is it possible, this is just kind of out of nowhere, but I want to ask both of you, is it possible to perform at a high level as a part-time agent in this business?
I think it is. I mean, it depends on your why, and I think that's where it all starts. Somebody gets their license. Why are they getting their real estate license? Is it a passion to help people, or do they think it might just be a quick, easy way to make some money because the market is strong? Right?
Okay.
So it's about that why.
Wow.
And we have those conversations amongst the team often. What is your why? Why are you here? Because you get knocked down, and things don't always go your way, but are you going to get back up, and why are you going to get back up, right? And you've had those setbacks,
right, for sure.
And
Yeah.
and he'll tell you he's got a very strong why. We've talked about that. We all need to. And
Right.
We all do.
Well, you have to
be
right?
successful.
Yeah. I was privileged to be on a panel this morning, and the cat's out of the bag, so I had signed an NDA, but I can talk about this now, with Glenn Sanford, Jay Kender, dear friend of mine, Elizabeth Riley, and I were on a panel, and thank you, Don Hobbs, for all you're doing on this event as well. But we really at EXP believe that it's such an important thing. Self-development, self-leadership, learning how to manage yourself, that 5.5 inches between your ears. Mm-hmm. That's the toughest part of this business. And Glenn Sanford, our founder, has a long history of being someone who really believes in helping people learn how to become better at everything, and that a lot of that involves self-development. And in fact, last Thursday, I was privileged to be part of a small group to witness right after we had purchased Success Magazine and all of those assets, Success.com, and it just speaks to how important this company believes that having the right attitude and the right mental training to get through this business is going to do it. You mentioned confidence a minute ago, Brandon, and you really, the way I was reading what you were saying was that was really about 60% of the battle, right?
Right.
So how does one develop confidence? You were in the Air Force.
Right.
Obviously that's going to help with your confidence. What would you say to somebody? Are there any things that you've learned over the years, any books you've read, anybody who's mentored you, who's planted a seed in you that you could now share that seed with somebody in our audience who maybe lacks that confidence? How do you go get that?
Yeah, so really mentorship is the big thing. So for me it was Charles, Aaron Kelly, Chris Bear, were the three right out the gate. That really kind of grabbed a hold of me and just pushed me. In the very beginning it was Megan. Megan, that girl instilled so much confidence in me, that I could go out and do this, and especially on an investment side, and we did our first wholesale deal together and made quite a bit of money on it, So I think as you go along, you have the people behind you pushing you. Your confidence will grow.
Okay.
And really it's all about and it doesn't even have to be somebody that I learned. It doesn't have to be. It could be the agent on the other end of the deal. As you go through, I asked questions to everybody. And as I went along as a brand new agent, it built up my confidence. And so I'm at the point now where I get to give that back. Where I run a group now for agents in just about every brokerage in the county. And we get together and do training sessions together. And and I tell them it doesn't matter what brokerage you're at. Like we're all in this together. And we're all here to pass guidance, and we just mastermind, and it's great. So it's really building your community. It will build your confidence. And you want to make yourself, you want to put yourself around people that are where you want to go.
Right. Okay. Charles, I've heard it said that your net worth equals your network.
No doubt.
You've mentored many agents in your career. I don't know if we need to try to talk about why it's important to get mentoring, but how would you suggest that an agent go about seeking the right mentor? What kind of things do you look for a great mentor?
Obviously, it's success, but success takes a lot of forms. It's not just a big house or expensive cars. It's friends and relationships and business networks. So find folks that are successful, find people who are willing to give back. I was very lucky that when I started in this business, I joined several investor associations, and I met some of the more successful investors in the group, and they were willing to, give me advice and direction from time to time and mentor me. What we talked about is I had one gentleman said, hey, what are you worth today? What do you want to be worth? And choose the activities you do. That's the leverage part of pickles, right? Is leverage your time, leverage other people's time, and push, and always have that desire to grow and to do more. But find people who are doing what you want to do, living a lifestyle that you want, that have similar philosophies is also very important, right? They're philosophically aligned with you.
Core values.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
And when you find those people, be generous. And what I see is awesome. Folks, a person comes to you and says, "How can I help you?" versus "How can you help me?" Right. And I think that's it. It's now I'm reading The Go-Giver, and I think most of us have read that at least once or twice. And it's give more in value than you receive is one of the principles, and I think that's very important. So when you're finding people, even if you're looking at that person for some advice and counsel and direction, offer them something first, because this is all about give and take.
Okay.
And being a gracious receiver and giving first.
Right. Coming from a mindset of contribution.
100%.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
Exactly. Just for the benefit of the audience here, give us the name of the book. It's called The Go-Giver.
Go-Giver.
Okay. And do you recall who the author is?
I don't.
Okay. I'm sure it's an Amazon bestseller.
Yes, it is.
Is there
on Audible as well.
On Audible, even better, right? That way you're driving, right?
Yes,
you don't have to.
correct.
You can listen to it and do that. I want to ask you, just in deference to time here, because I told you this was going to go fast, right? Didn't it go fast? It's amazing. We're at the end of the show here, but I want you to think about our audience for a second. We've got a number of people out in the audience right now who are stuck. They may be in a place where it's not the best environment for them to self-actualize. They may not know what they should be looking for. I want you, both of you, to reach out directly to these people right now and give them some help, give them some advice. Would you do that?
That's a deep question, Cliff. That's a great question.
It's a deep show, buddy.
That's good stuff. I think we all have something to give to the world. And if we're not actualizing every day and getting out there and working and fighting and contributing, and I say fighting because sometimes it is a tough world out there, and we have to contribute, and we have to get up every day and make every day our best day, even if it will be what we want it to be and what we make it, right? So I would say just figure out your why. What is it? Even if it's something small, right? Start with something small and have gratitude for everything you have, even
Amen.
the smallest things that you
Yeah.
have, and build on that. And know that it's not going to happen overnight. You know, we hear it all the time, right? Most people overestimate what they can do in a year, except this guy over here who's going crazy. And then we underestimate what we can do in 10.
Yeah.
You know, so pace yourself, because life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. But just every day, get up, focus, figure out what your why is, grow that, and help people. Realize that you're there to help others. Maybe you think it's because you need money, but maybe it's not that you need the money. Maybe it's because you need to help that person get their first home and have a home for their family where they can celebrate holidays, where they can be part of a community. It's not just about that commission for us. There's such a bigger picture. So understand and appreciate what that bigger picture is and look for it.
Awesome.
It's servant leadership, buddy.
100%.
Yeah.
That's the
Brandon,
S.
let's hear your word,
You know,
brother.
So, I mean, he took it right out of my mouth, but when you do that, when you have that, you know, then you're growing, you know, and I'll tell you, you know, you told me twice in our mentorship sessions that the real estate, the Millionaire Real Estate Team, the book by Chris Waters, and so I bought that, you know, and I'd say, you know, aside from finding those mentors and doing what they tell you, right? Because you can give me advice all day, but if I don't do it, it doesn't matter. You know, so go out there and do it, put it into action, and accountability is a big one for me. You know, have, you know, 2 or 3 people that, you know, you hold other agents, or, you know, you hold each other accountable, you know, and you know, your team grows, you know, and you grow together. You know, for me, there's an agent in our office, Julia. She runs a lot of our property management. You know, she does a lot of my admin stuff. Puts my feet to the fire. You know, she holds that accountability role in a lot of what we do. And Charles will tell you, you know, she keeps me on track. So, you know, and it's you know, it's really building a community. You build a team.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, you know, it's like I said earlier, it's, you know, you build around the people you want to be just like, you know, the guys that have been there and done that. That's who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
You know, and then you grow.
Charles Fischer,
Yes, sir.
Brandon Lape, I want to thank you guys. You guys in the audience, go follow these people. They are going to the moon, and you need to see how they're going to do it and get as close to them as you can. By the way, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you guys, just to ask you a question or just to follow you, what's the best place to find you?
Yep. So my phone number, it's my personal cell phone number, is 321-446-7788. It's always on. Unless I'm on a lead call, I'll answer it. And it's Brandon Lape on Facebook.
Okay, give us the number one more time.
321-446-7788.
Appreciate it. Okay, Charles?
Yeah, and my contact information, my cell number is 321-302-5909. And text is the best way to reach me.
Got it.
And you can also find me on Facebook at Charles A. Fischer. But don't forget the C. It's Fischer. Formerly the broker of Fischer Realty, now with Fischer Group, brokered by EXP.
EXP Realty. Gosh, I
Yes,
love it.
that's
Used to be
it.
Clifford Freeman and Associates.
There you go.
And now
Okay.
it's the Cliff Freeman Group,
It's the
brokered
thing
by
to do.
EXP Realty. It's awesome.
It is.
Isn't it? Well, guys, thank you so much. I'm telling you, I'm in awe. You guys amaze me, and I'm so impressed with what you both are doing. Brandon, you know, you're a rock star, and it's such a pleasure to work with both you guys and to be in business with you. And that's the most important thing, is that we're in business together, and we are going to change a lot of lives, and that's what's really cool. All right, my dear friends back in the studio, C3, Trelvis, thank you guys so much. This has been a lot of fun. You guys have a final word for us back there?
One thing, Bob Berg is the author of The Go-Giver.
Bob Bird. Hey,
Bob
thank
Berg,
you.
no problem.
Yeah,
I've
appreciate-
actually read that book. It's a really good book.
It's awesome.
All right,
Good
Trelvis
stuff.
is on it too. Let me tell
Yeah,
you, he's
yeah,
getting his
very
real
good.
estate license. Yeah, right.
Soon to come. Soon to come.
All right, fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen out there in internet land, Facebook land, YouTube land, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love you. We wouldn't be here without you and without your love and support. So you guys have a great rest of your week, and we're going to be here. We're out of here Thanksgiving. We're going to be in Mexico, and then we're going to Puerto Rico. So we're going to be off for a couple weeks, but I think we're on next week. We got some great stuff headed for you. Gentlemen, have a safe flight back to Melbourne. Thanks again for being on the show today.
Thank you for having
We'll
us,
see
Cliff.
you next time right here on Cliff's Notes.
All right, folks, tune in to Cliff's Notes every Thursday at 1 o'clock Central for the tips, tricks, and tactics to explode your business. I guarantee it.